What's going on YouTube? Mr. Smith here. We're going to go over the depth charts for all 32 teams now that the roster updates are done. You know, for me, one of the most annoying things of the year, even though I do love roster updates, is the fact that every single week you have to change your depth charts for all the teams. Now, I'm the kind of guy where, yeah, sometimes, like, right now I'm on a thing where I'm the Detroit Lions, like, non-stop. At the beginning of the year, I used the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like, non-stop. So it took me a while. But for the most part, I use a lot of different teams throughout the week, and having to change your depth chart every week is so annoying. So now we can do the depth charts for all 32 teams and save them. So I figured, you know what? Might as well show you, because there's a long time between March and the end of August when the new game comes out. So I could have just set all the depth charts and then just kind of showed you, but instead I figure, you know what? It's going to take more time, but we're going to go through it all. I'm going to talk it all out, kind of like I'm just sitting here by myself, talking out loud about what the attributes I like and who I would put where. So the first thing that we want to do, though, is, of course, no matter what team we're using, is we want to auto-reorder the depth chart. Now, Jay Cutler is obviously terrible in real life, but we know he's by far the best quarterback on this team. We're going to leave the quarterbacks as is. Now, Matt Forte is a great running back. He doesn't necessarily have a ton of speed, but the issue comes where, you know, what if he gets hurt? This can be a big situation because we've got Carey and Perry here. I don't care about overall when I'm looking at players. The only time I care about overall is if everything is really close. Chances are I will go with the guy with the higher overall just because. Now, we have a situation here because we got a 73 overall guy compared to 63 overall. That's 10 points. But the guy that's 10 points higher is 83 speed compared to 93 speed. And agility is 83. Like, you know, those numbers don't really equate. He does have the 84 trucking. Ball carrier vision to me is big, actually, especially this year. You know, when you're running the ball and guys will just slip off tackles and stuff like that, like you're not using stiff arm, but they'll just kind of brush him off and stuff like that. Or it looks like it's a close tackle and he gets by him. To me, that's a ball carrier vision. So that is a big attribute. It's a 9-point difference there. Stiff arm. It's a big difference, but at the same time, we need to consider the fact that a 74, yes, it's a 13-point difference, or sorry, 23-point difference here, but even though it is a 23-point difference, is 74 a number that we really care about anyway? So we do need to consider that. 87 spin move. So the speed is great for Perry over Carey, right? But then at the end of the day, everything else just doesn't really equate. Like 87 jump to 79, nobody cares about that when it comes to the running back for the most part. You're not going to use any of these guys out wide. So we spend way too much time on the running backs, but it is an issue because we do have an 83 speed guy, and actually, believe it or not, I'm going to stick with him, even though to me that's a nightmare. All we want to do is make sure that Matt Forte doesn't get hurt. We've got one fullback. Now, Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey. This is an interesting one. Now, just today, Marshall got traded to the New York Jets for a for a fifth-round draft pick. Age is not any concern at all when we're talking about ranked games. So, you know, the fact that he's so much older than Jeffrey, what do the numbers say? So, speed is a little bit better. Agility, everything's kind of the same. Awareness is 91 to 82. Trucking, not really a concern. Ball carrier vision, somewhat of a concern. Stiff arm. The numbers are very close. The juke move, it can help, but it's not that big of a deal for a wide receiver. Catching is 93 to 90, 91 to 90. So these four ratings right here. Catching, route running, catch in traffic, and then spec catch. Actually, spec catch is quite a bit different, and beat the press is very similar. So, with all those numbers, those are the most important numbers within the game. So we definitely need to put Alshon Jeffrey at number 1. Even though I do prefer the 6'4" over the 6'3", obviously, the numbers state Alshon Jeffrey is the number 1 guy. Now, what do we like as our third receiver? It depends what type of offense we run. Maybe we want speed. So the first thing we need to look for is, do we even have a speedy receiver that we can put in the slot? And the answer is no. So we want to go with the next best guy. So Marquez Wilson, 6'4" compared to 6'1". Marcus Mariani, 6'1". Okay, so now I need to figure out, I want the 6'4" in there, but how big a difference are the numbers? So 72 strength. I do like the strength at the wide receiver position for obvious reasons. Awareness, I mean, awareness is good, but it's not that big a deal, really. Elusiveness, ball carrier vision, I mean, they're not, these aren't the biggest numbers in the world. Catching, see, this is where we get crazy, because the 6'4" guy has 6 more catching, but then his route running is low. But even though his route running is lower, is 71 even a good number for route running anyway? The answer is no. So we're going to ignore that. Spec catch is definitely a difference. Beat the press, we don't care about that much. Jumping. So with those numbers, definitely going to go with Marquez Wilson as my number 3 guy. Then Morgan, then Mariani. The reason I'm going to go with Morgan here is just due to the fact that, that the catching is a little bit better in all 3 categories, the route running, the catching, and the catch in traffic. And we want reliable guys in there if we're going to go to a number 4. Now, when it comes to tight end, Martellus Bennett obviously is the number 1 option. For me, I know that I'm going to go with the fast guy. But is he tall enough? And the answer for Blake Annan is yes. He is an 89 speed, 87 acceleration. Where's that catching? 70 catch compared to a 74, a 72. The route running for a tight end doesn't really matter, and there's no big difference here. So I'm definitely going with this guy as my number 2 guy because he is 6'4", which is okay, but I love the speed. Definitely got to have that speed for me with my number 2 guy. Offensive lineman. I'm looking at strength, weight, and height as my first 3 things that I'm going to look at. Now, with offensive linemen, I will admit that I will look at overall, probably, like right off the bat, because I know that for the most part, the higher overall guy is going to be the better guy. So we've got their offensive line is just brutal. So I couldn't imagine anything being different, but we do need to look at these things. So strength, we've got the strongest guy at left tackle. I'm pretty good with that. We know that this offensive line sucks, so we're not going to look at it in that much depth. We got an 89 overall guy with 92 strength. We've got LaPuente here, 80 overall compared to 60 overall, 6'3", 6'3". They're both 86 strength, acceleration, awareness is quite a big difference. What else are we looking at here? What are we looking at? Run block, pass block. So, see the numbers. We got to stick with the starter. Kyle Long is an 88 overall. It's amazing that they have guys that are rated this high, considering how terrible their offensive line is. I don't like the strength in Madden. I want guys that are 90 strength, and not seeing that really here, except for I guess a couple guys. But I mean, we got to stick with Kyle Long there, and then finally Roberto Garza. This dude is ancient. He's 35 years old, 76 overall. At this point, he's got 86 strength. Is there anybody that we could find? This is the one position here. So even Britton, I mean, he's got the height, right? 6'6", 308. I do like the height. What are the numbers? The strength is 1 off. He's got better agility and acceleration. His awareness is way lower. Awareness, though, not really that big a deal. Never been an awareness guy on any position other than quarterback, really, and even then. Well, there's reasons why I like it this year, but I can't really disclose those this year. And then injury, stamina. Honestly, we got to go with Britton. He is the better guy. He's got the better. The numbers are close. His are a little better, and just the 6'6". You got to go with the 6'6". Plus, look at the speed. That's definitely what we got to go with. Now, for me, I love to put ends in coverage and everything like that. And I just love speed because I'm going to do a DTA gap and things like that. I want to have speed at this position. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at all the different, we got like no speed here. So Cornelius Washington, we've got some speed. It's not looking good for the speed. So we know that we've got Cornelius at right end. Lamar Houston is an 85 overall, 6'3", 300 pounds, 73 speed. 85 strength, 84 excel. Where am I going to go to? I do prefer finesse moves over power moves, but I'll still take a power move. He's 84 and 63. Is there anybody? So Jared Allen's got a 91 power move compared to 65 finesse move. Jared Allen is a 6'6". We definitely got to go with Jared Allen. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. So what's happening here is Washington is not even the starter over there. So we're going to go with Jared Allen, because I did forget about Jared Allen. So that's what we're going to do right there. Put Jared Allen. Well, you could either do either one, right? You could put Cornelius at left end or Jared Allen at right end. Kind of depends, but that's what we're going to go with. We're going to put Houston as the number 2 guy there, and we're going to put Houston as the number 2 guy here. Then for defensive tackle, again, I love strength, so I forget how to say his name. Paye, I think. 6'1", 300 pounds, 98 strength. Even with an 86 overall, I love that 98 strength number. Let's take a look at what else he's got. Hit power, pretty good. Power moves. He doesn't... See, I prefer finesse moves, right? Jay Ratliff's got the 85 finesse move, but, you know, 89 power move, 64, 85, 98 strength. Block shed is 83. Pursuit. Play recognition. Play recognition I love this year. We're going to get into that, though. I prefer it for secondary and linebackers. Let's just see here what these other guys have to offer real quick. I'm going to take a look at strength. I don't really like what I see. We're going like this. We're definitely going with Paye and Ratliff at number 1 and 2. Shea McClellan. These linebackers, I know, are going to just be really bad. We've got Briggs. We're definitely keeping him at the right outside linebacker. For me, I know that I like to use the 3-4 defense, and I know that I'm going to use the second middle linebacker. So if I know that's going to be my base defense, I definitely want... I'm going to be using middle linebacker number 1, so I want him to be the fastest guy. I want him to be the worst guy that's got some speed. And we need to have some acceleration because I'm going to be using him. So right now it looks like D.D. Lattimore is our best guy. So what I'm going to do... Then we're going to stick with Kasim Green. He does have 79 speed with an 83 excel, and I know that he's got... I definitely do like the block shed, but I know that the Bears don't have that at all. Like, as you can see, as the depth charts go on, man, like, you might not find a worse team for linebackers and block shed. That's just atrociously bad. So now we're looking at cornerbacks. This is where I especially love play recognition. I do love it on linebackers as well. I didn't cover it because I know that they're terrible, and we're not going to go over it that much for this team. We've got Tim Jennings as a 5'8" corner and Charles Tillman. So right off the bat, even though I know that Tillman has only 87 speed compared to the 92, I know a lot of people are going to have their tall guy at number 1, and I cannot afford to have a 5'8" corner as my number 1 guy, knowing that people are going to put their tallest guy at the number 1 for the most part. It's just something I can't do. The Bears don't really offer too much in the way of cornerbacks that are really, you know, solid. So we don't have much of a choice. We have to play Tim Jennings in our top two. But we got to make sure that we got 6'2" on the outside. Tillman's got a really nice press rating if you're the type of person that likes to bump. I just actually posted on TGL today that I think that playing bump and run coverage is a lot better than it was given credit for by people at the beginning of the year. Nobody was using press coverage because of the ability to get beat deep, but I think the game has changed, and I think press coverage means a lot. And so if we take a look here, where is that bump and run? So he's got 88 bump and run, and we can't have a 5'8", 61 press corner as a #1 guy if that's any kind of game plan whatsoever. So now, you know, for me, I love to blitz from the corner position, from the slot position. So who's my next fastest guy that can get the job done? Kyle Fuller at a 77 overall for some reason is stuck way down there, and I don't know why. He's 6 feet. He's definitely going to be my guy because I know he's 90 speed, 92 excel, and what do we got? His man and zone. Sometimes we just go to man and zone and we kind of scroll up and down and we see, does anybody catch our eye that's got anything worthwhile that can beat Kyle Fuller? And the answer is no. So what we need to do is, okay, so we need to compare McManus and Hurst. Chances are it's going to be McManus because we can just tell by the numbers. But this acceleration and the height, I don't know. I don't know. 94 jump. What do we got here? Sorry, I know it's taking a while, but we got to make sure we get these right, you know? Set your depth chart for one team, you got to make sure that you get it right. Smallest little detail can mean all the difference in the world. This is a close one, man. Honestly, 5'10" compared to 6'4", I'll take the height. I'll just take the height by default every time. That's just what I'm going to do. Now, for some reason, Kyle Fuller is in there. So, Chris Conte at a 74 overall and 89 speed with 84 acceleration. The 84 accel is really bad, but it's Madden 15. We don't care. See, when I used to draft, or when I used to like Tavon Branch and guys like that, or Chris Clemens with the Dolphins, or just guys that had speed and excel with some height. That's all I cared about. This year, though, I do like a little bit of awareness, and I do love that play recognition. Safeties are going to play well this year by default. You know that, right? I mean, you've played the game. You know that they're going to jump routes in a cover 3, a single high safety. They're going to play the middle really well. So you don't want the speed as much as you want a little bit of play recognition. He's got 70. Is there any safety that's got... So Ryan Mundy's got 70. I mean, nobody. Right? This defense. I don't even know why I'm going over this depth, man, unless you are a hardcore Bears fan. You got you've got some issues using the Bears. Oh my God, this team is terrible. Jeez, they're bad. So we're going with Chris Conte. I mean, there is no other choice. There just isn't. McCray, Danny McCray, 87 speed, 92 excel, 69 awareness. I mean, oh man, it's not good. His play recognition is really bad. It's 64, even though it's only 6 points. You know, we just got to go with Conte. Again, height by default, 6'2". It's only an inch. That's what's got to be. So Ryan Mundy here, just by looking at the overall, I am going to go by overall when it comes to safeties a little bit more. But 83 speed to 87, I don't like that. 92 excel to 85. So far, same height, different speed. McCray's in the lead. Mundy's going to have to get some stuff done here. 82. So far, it's going to McCray. Hit power is 88 to 73, though, and we're talking about a strong safety. That is big, especially with some of the things I like to put the safeties in this year. That is definitely... See, that makes it tough. That makes it tough. Do we want hit power, which is... This is the decision we need to make. We know it's an 84 overall compared to a 75. But They are the same height, even though you know, we're talking about a 12-pound difference here. I do put some stock into weight. It's a 4 speed difference and a 7 acceleration difference. Awareness. I'm not big on awareness, but I will look at it a little bit more when it comes to safety play this year, and this year alone. This one is tough, because what do we want? Do we want 88 hit power that's going to kind of happen every once in a while, or speed that's going to take effect every single play? Now, we're not going to be controlling a user safety, right? So the 83 speed, I mean, it depends on how well he recovers. This is tough. Honestly, this is tough. What I'm going to do, though, is I will take the 88 hit power. And the reason I'll take the 88 hit power, honestly, is because the Bears' defense sucks. And we need the ability, and I think about all these things, we need the ability to cause turnovers when we're on defense. We can't be putting out speed there just because we want that little bit of extra speed. You know, yeah, we might grab onto McRae here a couple times every once in a while and user him to maybe, you know, blow up a pistol run or something like that. But for the most part, this defense is really bad, and we need those turnovers, so we're going to take the 88 hit power. But this is close. This is very, very close. Kicker, I mean, doesn't even matter. I mean, all I care about is kick power. That's all I care about. But I know that Buddy's going to have better kick power. So, see, it's 95. So that's all I care about. I don't care about accuracy at all. Punter, same thing. We've only got really one punter. Kicker cannot punt the ball. Kick return, you know what? Don't even set it. I mean, you're not return. The only thing you're doing by returning the ball, even though I do return the ball because it's more fun, but if you're trying to win, the only thing that you're gaining by returning the ball is the ability to fumble. And the rare, rare, rare occasion to get a return. Now, the speed on this team is so bad, it doesn't even matter. Like, we're going to keep this Perry guy in because he actually is an 83 overall on the return. Mariani is a return guy, kickoff specialist, long snappers, 91 overall. And third down running back, we're not going to change that at all. And even more so, we definitely will go with the 92 overall third down back with a slower speed because he's got that little more weight to him. You know, he's a bit of a power. I'm not going to say that he's a power back, but if we go and look at his, I probably missed it. Whatever, you get the idea. You know, he had some trucking ability. Gotta go see it. I can't just skip it over, man. It's just not my nature. Right there, 84 trucking. So, took a while, but that is the Chicago Bears depth chart by yours truly, Mr. Smith. So what we're going to do is, now that we are done, we are going to back out. And we need to be able to save this because there are no more updates. We're going to go to Manage Files. We're going to go to Save Files. Then R1 over to Roster. And we can save it over top of Official. Now, normally, when there's new updates and stuff, this isn't going to allow you to really do it. It'll save it for a little bit, but then there's a new update. So we save it, and now, for the rest of the year, from now until the end of August when the new game comes out, your depth chart is set. If you want to make any changes, you go make a change, then you go back and you save it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to do another depth chart here in a minute. We'll do the second team, and I'm just going to kind of weed these out over the next little bit at whatever pace I can. Can't promise anything, but I will try to get them out. See you guys soon.